one key thing that you can think of which can, make a difference when it comes to real estate?
The government is looking at urban development as a fund, as a focus. What is required is to make our cities more livable. We are more aware, we are more knowledgeable, and I think there is a more focus that rather than just making things without concept, we are now making things with the quality in place. How do you bring the output to the bottom of the pyramid is the larger issue. NAREDCO is actually a platform which tells all the policymakers across the country that this is a serious requirement. It's a dharma of the country, dharma of the builders, and dharma of the government in time to be able to recognize the fact that, if the people who are literally the backbone of the country, the people who are the middle class, lower middle class, if they get a good house to live, I think we can all prosper thereafter in a very systematic way.
With focus on Viksit Bharat 2047, how is real estate aligning with the vision? We have with us Mr. Gaurav Jain. He is President-elect for NAREDCO Delhi chapter. He is one of the founding member, and he is one of those who can give us key insights about how is Gulf countries, making waves when it comes to real estate. A very warm welcome, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you for having me here. Thank
So
you.
my first question to you would be, for 2047, Viksit Bharat, when we talk about, how do you see real estate aligning with it? And one key thing that you can think of which can, make a difference when it comes to real estate?
See, work in progress is what we call real estate, because there's nothing like a 2047, something will happen concrete and nothing will happen thereafter. But the good thing is government has realized in last 15 years that, real estate does play a very strong role in development of the country. And I think which was a little bit lacking earlier. Now, having defined that, how do we contribute? I think it's a given fact that, we contribute largely to the GDP.
Yes.
However, that was rather unorganized, I would say. But given the fact that now the union budget as well as the government is looking at urban development as a fund, as a focus,
Sure.
what is required is to make our cities more livable than what they are today. I'm not proud of the fact that, though I'm a town planner engineer, but what we created in the last 30 years is rather glorified slums today. But what was created earlier without any so-called planning concepts 200 years, 500 years back are still living cities like Varanasi for that matter. So the question is, we need to do the same thing, however, in a much better way. What is the better way is that we are more aware, we are more knowledgeable, and I think there is a more focus that rather than just making things without concepts, we are now making things with the quality in place. I think that is the very key difference. And 2047 is not going to be too far. With the way India is growing, I think we are going to see every 5 years. I think somebody was saying that what we have done in the last 40 years, we'll do in next 10 to 15 years actually.
Exactly.
And that's the way it works actually.
Actually, you have touched a very important point when you talked about slum. I was hearing Mr. Niranjan Hirandani where he also mentioned that in Mumbai, 50% of people are still living in slums.
Correct.
When we talk about Gurugram, we see branded residences, we see ultra luxurious projects, but the way they are surrounded, the way the surroundings are, how do you see the planning of a city or maybe tier 1, tier 2 cities in coming years? And if we compare it to countries of Gulf, how do you see the comparison?
See, the concept of part to the whole and whole to the part actually. The good thing is our master planning way we done, Haryana is a perfect example of how a good cities should be made. What has maybe gone wrong over a period of years is that, we have made it rather fragmented actually. So people give a comparison of Noida and Gurgaon all the time. Now, whether roads come first or the project come first, that's a chicken and egg story. I think from a very larger perspective, we have a great planning legacy. We have created cities like, Chandigarh for that matter. We have lived in New Delhi. We have done fantastic job in our earlier historical towns, as we call it. Lucknow for that matter, or even, some of the earlier towns. What has happened today is that, we have given precedence to development without the infrastructure being in place actually.
Right.
So that catch-up game, for example, Dwarka Expressway, it had to come.
Right.
But, it came after so much of pushes and pulls, and in the meantime, a lot of unauthorized colonies came up. What is the slum for that matter? Slum is somebody who wants to live in a house, but is not getting a part of a formal housing equation.
Right.
So let's say I own a house, I want a house in 30 lakh rupees. Now, am I getting any formal house in 30 lakh rupees? No. So he goes to a illegal area which is being developed by whosoever XYZ, and he's happily staying there. Now, can you blame the person because he needs a roof on his head? You can't blame the guy. The question is therefore, How are we doing the projects? The question therefore remains, for a person to be owning a house in this country, there are only two ways to look at it. Either government says this land is super subsidized,
Right.
and I can do it. I will only make affordable housing. I don't use the word affordable. I say housing which is affordable.
Right.
And thereafter, let the simple market economic construction plus the overhead of the developer comes into play, and that's a job. But here, when you leave land to the market forces, you leave construction to the market forces, then it becomes everything gets added up, and the net result is today what Niranjan sir said. There's a reverse thing. More luxury is selling, affordable becoming less. But that's pure market dynamics.
Right.
How do you control? Who will fund land which is today, when Haryana policies came up, it was 5 to 7 crores an acre. Today is 50 to 70 crores an acre.
Right.
How can at 5,000 rupees a square foot somebody can make affordable housing? It's impossible. So one of the good developer who is now a listed company, dear friend of ours, who earlier a pure housing, affordable housing player, has become a luxurious housing player actually.
Yeah, because that's what is selling. That's what the game is.
That's what the market has become.
Right.
How can I sell something at 5,000 when the cost is 10,000? You say, okay, I'll sell it 12,000. You call it affordable. You don't call it affordable. Is how you define the whole thing.
So what do you see? What is the solution, and how can this affordable housing become actually affordable and sellable also?
So here, let's touch on
profitable also for the developers.
I think profitability in any business is the outlook of the person running the business.
Right.
That should not be government's concern.
Right.
Government is looking at the policies. So let me touch on a very raw point here, which is a larger issue. We are sitting in this place called Delhi, 1100XY pin code. The master plan of Delhi has been languishing for last now literally 20 years. You got more than 50 to 70,000 acres of land ready to be developed in Delhi, but somehow it's not seeing the light of the day. Why is it not happening? We have met multiple officers, all good intentioned people. They want to do the job. Why don't you simply create 5,000 acres of land here, call it land for affordable housing? Simple as that. Then people can build, and that land today is costing you how much? Maybe 4 to 7 crores an acre. At that price, you can actually give somebody house, all our friends standing here for that matter, maybe not more than 4,000 rupees a square foot. What else you need in the... Today, what is happening is somehow for affordable housing, you're told to go 70 kilometers away, 50 kilometers away. Nobody wants to go there.
True.
So there is a policies, which can be done. The question is, somehow you need to understand India is not giving money to the bottom of the pyramid. Only the top of the pyramid is getting richer all the day. So how do you bring the output to the bottom of the pyramid is the larger issue. So we can look at, let's say, all the developers here, but they're not representing the masses who are our customers. Our customers are sitting in slums. Our customers are sitting in autonomous colony, which have to be upgraded to the affordable housing concept actually.
So what can be done for that? And what is NAREDCO doing for that?
See, NAREDCO is actually a platform which tells all the policymakers across the country that this is a serious requirement. In this, there are three components actually. And it's like any component of it, what adds to the 100% cost. A, the land. B, the construction, materials, building process.
Right.
Third is the labor. And fourth is the profit and the government margins on top of that, government approvals. Maybe take away all the taxes on affordable housing. Maybe give affordable housing land at a price which is subsidized, means at cost. Acquire it at cost and give it to people at cost. Why does government need to say that, if I'm acquiring 100 rupees, I'll give it for 1,000 rupees? So affordable housing means anybody comes, gives you a 500 square feet house and takes land from the government. Government is not doing anything except being the facilitator of the land. You're acquiring at the market price. But moment you become a aggregator and then maybe a multiplier effect on top of that, the whole concept changes actually. And third becomes the labor and the profit. I think we all know the labor cost is not going down. This is where the technology comes into play. How can we use better technology? How can we use technology which will last the life of the person rather than getting crumbled over a period of time? There is no difference between IS specifications for a concrete being used in a 5-star hotel and to be used in a house which is affordable housing. But people, they do all kind of things. So the question is, therefore, we have to have very strong, let's say, it's a dharma of the country, dharma of the builders and dharma of the government in time to be able to recognize the fact that, if the people who are our, literally the backbone of the country, the people who are the middle class, lower middle class, if they get a good house to live, I think we can all prosper thereafter in a very systematic way, rather than this, fragmented way of we see luxury, but we don't see the slums actually.
Right.
So I think this is where my 2 bit comes in. You also asked about the, let's say, the Gulf countries.
Yeah.
I was with Imar for a long time, and then today I'm working for a fund based in Bahrain. There, the concept is very simple. Land cost is literally nothing.
Okay, and here the
Here, land cost
main
becomes,
pain point is
depends on where
that.
you are, it becomes 30% to 70%.
True.
So, again, the same concept. How can a housing be affordable, or maybe they are doing affordable housing, is because the land cost is, in the control of the government actually, or let's call it whatever it is. Here, the moment you take that out of the equation, any builder in the country, wherever they are, they'll be able to do good quality housing at a good quality price, which people can afford actually. That's a simple answer.
Okay.
So, now, what is the rocket science around it? Land coming at a right price.
Right.
As simple as that. And thirdly, most importantly, we all actually shy away from giving FAR. Let us say today, I don't have land which government can give me. Fair enough, understandable. There are issues, there are government which are running the system, laws are different. What stops us from giving you unlimited FAR on the piece of land which I have to give affordable housing on?
True.
What it does is, it reduces my cost per square foot.
Right.
Of the area I'm building by the denominator which is higher. Instead of dividing this land area by 2 in terms of costing, I'm dividing by 10 for that matter.
Right.
Suddenly the cost becomes 1/5 of the land.
True.
So how difficult could that be? Now question is, extra pipe costs nothing, extra electricity costs nothing, because everybody's paying for that.
Yes.
See, we are all paying for the utilities. Globally, putting utilities is not a cost, it's not an added cost. It's like a cost neutral business.
Right.
If I'm using water, I'm paying for water. If I'm using electricity, I'm paying for electricity. If I'm using aircon, I'm paying for aircon. How can that be a cost center? How can that be additional cost to the project?
So, a lot more is to be done, and we believe
easily done actually. Yeah, but I think a lot of people, when they start talking about it, it becomes a euphoria. I think that's the way to look at it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gaurav.
Thank you.